So, welcome everyone to another episode of Women Led Businesses. I'm extremely happy that we have Sanjana with us today. She runs the Pinkbox, and we are all ears to hear about what it is, how it's actually challenging a lot of these ideas and barriers, mental thoughts that we have, and we are very excited to just get this started with. So, thank you so much for accepting our invite. Could
Thank
you
you,
please just
Juliet. Thank you for having me on this platform. I'm really excited to be here.
me to could you introduce yourself? Let's just begin for our listeners.
Right. Yes, so I'm the founder of the Pinkbox. My name is Sanjana Pai, and the Pinkbox is a subscription service for everything you need during your period, right? So our subscription box consists of a bunch of goodies that help you feel good and cared for during those days, which includes healthy snacks, healthy sweets, and of course your choice of sanitary pads or tampons, whatever you would prefer. We also send a couple of period pain relievers, sanitary pad disposal bags. So it's a complete kit. It's got each and everything you will need during that time.
Hmm.
And along with our subscription service, we also have a couple of sustainable, eco friendly, drug free, and chemical free wellness products on the Pink Box as well. Like we've got your menstrual cups, biodegradable tampons, soothing roll ons, anti nausea wristbands.
Wow.
We believe in, thank you. We believe in choosing a more natural and drug free lifestyle, which is why most of our products will veer away from medication and give you better, more sustainable and natural alternatives as well. So that's what we do in a little nutshell.
Yeah, I think there are so many things on your website that that's a very
Yes.
brief description. But tell me, right from the beginning, like how did you decide that you should definitely start? I mean, first of all, I loved the page, and I'm like, why didn't we have
Thank
this
you.
before? So that's a really great product. I mean, thinking about that itself, because we live in a country where everything is being taxed for, and you don't even
Yes,
mention it, and there are so many things like wrapping it in newspapers and whatnot. So,
exactly.
begin with like, why did you even think about this product? I know there's a need,
Yes.
but I would like to hear from you on what was your inspiration to start.
Right. So, when I think right from the time I was 15 or 16, I had a strong inclination towards the fields of women's rights and development and children's education as well. So, from that age, I knew that I wanted to work in this field and contribute to this field. And while I was growing up, I met so many people who were really being held back from being their best selves in their personal as well as professional lives because of periods, right? And periods is something that is so natural. It happens to every woman on the planet, every menstruator on the planet, right? So why is it something that should hold us back? It's as natural as going to the bathroom to like pee or poop, right?
Exactly.
And that is really why I wanted to work in this field, right? I wanted to normalize it because, like you said, people don't talk about it. It's in hush hush that we even discuss it. Even going to a gynecologist is a little, taboo in a lot of parts of the country, right? While it's essential, it's good to have a checkup done. It's good to refer to an expert when it comes to your reproductive and sexual health, right? So to raise awareness in this field as well as get women to understand that caring for yourself during your period is something you should do, right? What usually happens with us is we tend to put our own selves at the bottom of our priority list, right? It's either family or career, and we are almost never there, right? So, and your period is that time when you need to give yourself, give your body that attention and that care and those extra nutrients and just rest also. So
Yeah.
that's why I wanted to start the Pink Box, and that's why I wanted to make it a subscription service so that women can just subscribe and completely forget about it, right? So your self care needs and your menstrual needs, we will take care of it completely. You just leave it up to us. That's what we wanted to do, and that's why I started the Pink Box. Yeah.
That's really nice. I mean, knowing that at least some company out there, like every company is out there to take your, like, I am a software developer, so we think about like, okay, how do we make the person use the app so much,
Yes.
that they don't sleep. We are fighting against sleep, and so basically everybody's out there to drain you out of energy just for profit's sake. And it's good to know
Yeah.
there are companies starting that are actually looking out for you. So
Thank you.
that's really nice. And do you did you start this with a friend, or did you have an idea about this way back in college, or what was the journey like?
Yes. In fact, again, because I knew from a very young age that I wanted to contribute to this field, when I chose to do my MBA, I chose the specialization innovation and entrepreneurship. And I did my MBA from SIBM Pune, which has that field. And through everything we learned, through all the entrepreneurs we interacted with, it really solidified in me that I want to start this. I want to do this, right? We had a competition called the Pitch, which was a B-plan pitch competition. And at that point, the Pinkbox was, just an idea. I had done my research and I understood, what should go in the box, how the deliveries will be, made to women 5 days before their period and all of that. But I really needed that validation from people who are experts in the field or people who are entrepreneurs. So I participated in that competition. I had my projected financials ready, all of those typical little B school things, and I won that competition, which gave me my seed capital.
Oh,
And
nice.
yes, I think more than the seed capital, it really um, gave me that confidence to actually go out and start something myself, right? Very few people in my family are entrepreneurs, right? My parents are CAs. My grandfather is a doctor. My other grandfather was an engineer. And entrepreneurship was completely new, right? I am a first generation entrepreneur. So it gave me that confidence that yes, this is something I can do. This is something I should pursue. And that's how the idea was born. That's how I started it. One of my closest friends, Ashwarya, she really helped me take the product from just a product to actually launching the product. So she worked with me for about, I think, 1.5 to 2 years. And she helped me get all the basics in place, the marketing right, getting in the operations in like a structured manner.
Mm.
So yeah, she's pursuing her MBA in Toronto right now. So I'm a solopreneur. I do have a team, three beautiful women who handle our social media marketing, very talented. We have a couple of interns also who are on board at the moment. So yeah, that's our small little team. So yeah,
Nice. I
that's
was
all.
just going to ask who's the one who's making all these beautiful posters, because they are
Yes,
so relatable. I'm like,
yes,
oh, and I mean, that designs are actually when even when you scroll, then the
yeah,
part of normalization actually I think happens when you see that there are products like this existing on a daily
yes,
basis, and for everybody else as
true,
well. Like, it's a
true,
normal thing to talk
absolutely.
about, and even when you're scrolling, finding those relatable comics and all are
Yes.
really nice.
Yes. In
So.
fact, Julian, during that time when I was researching more about the pink box and not the pink box, sorry, the menstrual hygiene field and how women in our country perceive menstruation, what are the products we tend to buy. What really stood out for me was there's a very stark contrast, right? On one hand, we don't want to talk about menstruation, we don't want to discuss our period, not even with our mothers in many cases, and on the other hand, we've normalized it to an extent where it's like, ha, it happens every month, no big deal, right? So you don't talk about it, but also you don't give yourself that kind of special care, right? So we really want to make sure that we are a brand that talks about your periods, that talks about what are the problems that can happen, why it is important that you get your period, on a regular basis, what can you do if it's not on a regular basis, all those things. So it's very important to us that we do put out all that information out there.
Actually, I have seen that like people even when you're working in a company for a normal job, like taking those days off on those days. At least I would love it if they actually understand like I don't want to be in the office when, on the second day.
True.
So
Absolutely.
they're
Yeah.
like if sabko hota hai, it's very normal. Why do you want to take a
Exactly.
leave?
Exactly.
I'm
And
like,
I think we also have to understand that like periods are very, very dynamic, all right. For some people the flow is very heavy, for some people the flow is very light. Some people will be bleed for 2 days and it'll be done. Some people will bleed for 7 days, right? And everybody has a different threshold for pain also, right? So somebody
yeah.
says that I need to take these days off or because I'm on my period, I think people should really understand that, right? I don't think they should compare कि अच्छा मैं leave नहीं लेती हूँ तुम्हें क्यों लेना है. I don't think that's correct. I think it's very to each her own, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's nice. So that, I mean, you're doing a great job with those social media itself. I've
Thank
seen you
you.
guys on Instagram. Are you on Facebook and other platforms as well?
Yes. Facebook and Twitter as well, and Quora too.
Oh, okay, okay, nice, nice, nice.
Yeah.
And I said, so basically, I think that awareness is extremely important. So, you said you researched menstrual hygiene specifically on in your college days. How long
Yeah.
was the period of time? Like, was it before your
Um,
college start as well?
No, no, no. It was after, it was during college. It was during that innovation and entrepreneurship course. I think my research period was about 6 to 9 months, but it didn't stop there, right? Even after we launched the Pinkbox, we had a lot of research to do, right? Sometimes
Mm-hmm.
you take the product to the market and then you understand the shortfalls where you can tweak something. So I think it's a continuous phase. I don't think it stops. And I also
Mm-hmm.
think we're living in a time where everything is changing so constantly on an everyday basis, right? So it's very important to keep yourself updated with what's happening in your field. What are your target customers looking for? So I think it's a constant process. Yeah.
So, when your customers do they do people have like when they say I have PCOS or PCOD as an issue? So, do they come back to you asking like, can we have something for this? Is there
Yes.
a feedback cycle as well?
We do, yes, yes, we do. We reach out to a lot of our customers, a lot of our subscribers about what they liked in the pink box, what we can change for them. And in 2019, we launched a specific box for women with PCOS, right? So that's our
Mm-hmm.
PCOS edition box. The juices that you get in that, or the snacks that you get in that, all of them have nutrients and are made of berries or seeds that are specifically part of a PCOS friendly diet, right? So yeah, we do that, and we also have a helpline where you can just WhatsApp us. We will connect you to a nutrition, a gynecologist, whoever you want to talk to, and it's completely free of charge. So yeah.
Nice, amazing. So, I think I was just going to ask you, like, do you have on nutritionist on board while you're designing these gummy bears and all of these chia seeds that you're sitting? Do they come on board and help you in the product
Right.
design? Like, could you
Yes,
tell
they
me more
do.
about that process?
Right. So we don't manufacture, right? The
Mm-hmm.
pink box products, we get it from the best vendors across the country. So
Mm-hmm.
what we do is before the box of the month is finalized, we just have our nutritionist or our dietitian go through all the process, go through all the ingredients once, see what is the nutritional content, see what are exactly the products that are going in there. And once we get their approval, then the box is finalized. So yeah,
Okay.
the contents in the box, the products on the website, they are all not only curated but also approved of by experts. Yeah,
That's amazing. So, did you get these contacts of nutritionists after you started this, or did you have them beforehand? Like whom to
a
reach
bit of
out
both.
to? Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
a bit of both. A bit of
Uh-huh.
both. I knew a couple of doctors or nutritionists earlier as well. And after we started the Pink Box, also, a lot of people wrote to us saying, we love what you do, and this is what we do, and please let us know
Mhm.
how we could be a part of this process. So we were very
Oh,
happy. Well,
awesome.
absolutely, yeah.
Mhm.
So it's a bit of both.
Definitely. So, have you had a job beforehand, or did you start right away from this, directly
No,
into
I
Pink
was
Box?
a
That's
fresher. Yes, I graduated
awesome.
BCom in 2015, and
Mm-hmm.
then I took a year off to figure out what I wanted to do with my life.
Mm-hmm.
And
Most important.
immediately after that, yes, a year after that, I did my MBA in innovation and entrepreneurship. And immediately after graduating, I started the Pink Box because I think I had a lot of
Mm-hmm.
conviction also that I need to work in this field. I need my product to go out there ASAP. So yeah, I
Oh,
started immediately.
that's great. I mean, I think starting and doing the right thing in your life is actually really great. So even if you have to do whatever it takes, and I think your calling was there, since you are
Yes,
making a lot of. So
exactly.
it's been you started all the way for 4 years. How long has it been?
Yes, we started in 2018. So
2018.
yeah, two
Three,
to
three,
3 years now. Yeah.
2 to 3 years. That's amazing. So I mean, it's definitely one of the most unique things I've seen on Insta
Thank
and
you.
otherwise. So, like, how do you think people are, when they buy your products? And I'm not sure, are there people, other companies that provide the
Yes,
same packages? I'm not
yes,
okay.
there are. Yeah.
How? Yeah, there are. Okay. That's. I mean, I've never heard of these things, so that's why. Like,
There.
could you list anyone? Is there anybody that you specifically look
Uh,
out to as a
I
competitor?
don't want to. I think
No,
I'll just
that's
stick.
fine.
I'll just stick to the ping box right now. Yeah.
Okay, okay. I mean, actually, I feel companies succeed when there is a competition, because I think
True. True.
that
True.
helps you grow and provide more this thing. So that is
True.
perfectly fine.
Yeah.
What else? Like, do you how do you go about the hiring process? Do people reach out to you, or do you have a recruiting process? How is that done? And you mentioned there were
It's
interns.
again, yes, it's a bit of both. Again, right now we're a very small team because
Mhm.
still in our very early stage, right? So again, since I did my MBA from SIB in Pune,
Mhm.
they have a couple of internships happening quite often. They have a couple of
Mhm.
live projects happening also quite often.
Mhm.
So they would reach out to us and say that, if you would like to provide an internship or a live project, then we have students who come from this background. They're doing MBA right now in this specific field, whether it's marketing or HR or operations or innovation,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, so then again, we met a couple of interns through these little projects, and then they've stuck with us for a while, or we've
Mhm.
asked them if they would want to extend their internship. So that's how we
Mhm.
go about it. Yeah.
Okay.
But right now we're a very small team. We're keeping it small right now. 2020 hit us also very badly. We'll
Uh-huh.
come back to that later. But yeah,
Okay. So, do you see? So currently, you're all over India, right? You ship
yes,
across pan
pan
India.
India. Yes,
Pan India,
yeah,
that's amazing. So, like, I've read stuff like where people try to provide vending machines at railway stations or malls. So, do you plan to create? How like right now it's a subscription model, but do you plan to have ping boxes at malls, or you know f-
yeah,
frequently available things? Like currently, I would have to go to your website and then sign up
yes.
for that. But do you look out for a public presence as well? Are you
Yes,
planning
but in
that?
the future, Julian, not in the near future, but we do plan to do that at a later stage.
Mhm.
One reason why we haven't done that right now is the add-ons in the pink box, right? Your healthy snacks and sweets, they change month on month, and all these
Mhm.
eatables do not have preservatives, so they have a very short shelf life. I think
Mhm.
just about
Oh,
from 1.5 months, right? So we can't
wow.
keep it at like a mall long term. The foods will expire, so it's
Mhm.
not a great idea right
Okay.
now. But we will do it in the future. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think so it's like an all-rounder box actually. It's not just the pads that you're making sure that we have. And like, there are times when you
Yes.
actually run out of them and you need to go and run to the shop. But there are cases where I
Exactly.
think like I'm not sure whether we have it in public spaces available yet. But if
Hmm.
they would be there, it would be awesome. So do you?
True. True.
So, on your research, do you actually actually worry about the environmental cost as well? Like right now, you mentioned there are no preservatives and all of that. Is it like a 50% time, or most of the time you're actually thinking? How is the percentage of time that you spend on? Like you mentioned, you're having organic tampons that are
Hmm.
biodegradable. So,
Hmm.
how does
Hmm.
that research go? Like,
Okay. So I personally believe that sustainability is a choice. It is
hmm,
something that we need to do as a community, as a society. But again, if you are making lifestyle changes, again, to each her own, right? The changes that I would want to make are different from the changes that you would want to make, right? So what we've done is in the pink box itself, we have a bio box option as well, where instead of going for the regular pads that you typically find in the market, which are plastic based, you can just upgrade yourself to biodegradable pads or tampons, right? So if you want those products as part of the pink box, you can do that. If you would want to go separately and buy those, you can do that. But yes, these products are biodegradable. They will decompose in about 6 to 9 months, but these products are not zero waste, right? And to
hmm,
address that, we've also got menstrual cups and cloth pads. So these are products that you can use, up to 5 years or 8 years. And these products really enable you to have a zero waste period, right? So
hmm,
I personally switched to that a couple of months ago. I use a menstrual cup, and I also use a cloth based panty liner with that
hmm,
in case
hmm,
of those, just in case moments, maybe there's a leak, maybe I didn't wear my cup properly, for small things
hmm,
like those.
hmm.
So that's how we address that. Yeah.
Nice. So, do you see people switching to menstrual cups more
Yes.
after they have subscribed to your box, Pinkbox?
Yes, they have. They have. In fact, I think that's one big positive change that we saw in 2020, where women were really moving to menstrual cups.
Awesome.
Yeah, because I think it's such a good product. It is sustainable, and I think once you get over that mental block about having to like wear it inside you, then it's a
Mm-hmm.
very seamless process. I think most
Mm-hmm.
women who've been switching to cups are women who have given birth vaginally, but a
Mm-hmm.
lot of other women also, people our age, in their mid 20s, early 30s, they're also switching to menstrual cups. So yeah, that's a pattern we've seen.
Seriously, if it helps you have zero waste periods, that will be like amazing.
True.
It's like a tension all the time
Yeah.
if you're not using a cup. So it's like, I think you're doing a great job in creating an awareness as well. A lot of
Yeah.
us aren't actually like. I think how when was it that it was introduced in India? Menstrual cups. Not sure
I
if how
think
long.
very recently, in fact, I think in 2015 or 16 is when I think the first few brands started coming out with it in
Mm-hmm.
India. But I think 2019 20 is when that market really exploded all of a sudden, where all your major brands were doing menstrual cups and selling it at some very affordable prices also. But to that, I just have like one message is just make sure that whatever cup you buy, it is FDA approved and the silicone used in it is medical grade silicone, right? The price obviously might be a little bit more on the higher side, but obviously a menstrual cup is something you buy once, right? So it's a
Correct.
one-time
Correct.
investment. You can just
Mm-hmm.
compare, how much, what is your expenditure buying sanitary pads or tampons every single month. In comparison, menstrual cups are more economical as well. So if you're
Mm-hmm.
paying about 300, 400 rupees more for something that is FDA approved and made of medical grade silicone, it's better for your health, right? It's just about 300, 400. You can definitely invest that much in your health. So that's just one
Correct.
message I'd like to convey to people out there. Preferably, don't go for pads for menstrual cups that cost about 300, 400. They might not be that healthy. That's why.
Mm-hmm. So how long do they last?
5 to 8 years.
That's a great investment. It's actually economical.
Totally, totally.
That's nice. So, did anybody from your family support this idea right from the start? Like, I think you mentioned being the first generation entrepreneur.
Yes.
Were your family supportive of the idea completely from the start?
Yes, they were. In fact, my parents have really been very supportive, I think, throughout all the career choices that I've made all throughout my life. So they were extremely supportive. And also, one thing my mentors told me was that, when I started the venture, I was only 24. So they said, you're very young right now. So just in case this does not work out, you have enough time to pivot and, go back to maybe a professional field, take up a job. So
Mm-hmm.
you have that time right now. So do it. So go for it. And that's something that even my parents believed in. They said, yeah, that's absolutely true. Just in case this does not work out, you got enough time to pivot and, like shift your career track or something. So yeah, they were absolutely supportive. But yeah, there were a couple of family members and family friends, neighbors who were like, why are you making sanitary pads? First of all, sanitary pads are important. People need it. I don't think there should be a why are you making.
Yeah.
Secondly, it's my choice. It's my career. So like, don't judge. So yeah,
Okay, I think you should never consider what neighbors say. They have literally no business.
true, true.
But it's nice to know that your parents are supportive. So there were so was it like do they join you in meetings and trips? And I think do you have to travel a lot for the marketing of this
Yes.
or?
Earlier I did, pre
Mhm.
2020 I did, but post lockdown we've not had to. No, they've
Mhm.
not joined me in any of these meetings or trips so far. I've always had
Mhm.
somebody from the team come with me, or I've gone there myself. And
Mhm.
yeah, and I think one big advantage that we had, I mean, 2020 was a difficult year, but one positive thing was definitely e-meetings. I
Mhm.
think that really helps a lot. You can contact anybody, you can have a good long meeting with somebody who's 5 to 6 hours away, or even 24
Mhm.
to 30 hours away. Exactly like this, and it helps.
Yeah.
It's good. So yeah,
Oh yeah, I think all of us have learned we don't really need to be physically present everywhere.
true, true, true.
So, did was there anybody in your family who switched to menstrual cups? I'm just curious. Like
In
after
my
you have
family, no, no, there was one
your
cousin who did
cousins.
switch. Yes, there was
Mm,
one cousin who did switch. There was one cousin who was already using a menstrual cup, but she was not comfortable. And
mm,
then she bought Ella Cup, which is a brand based in Hyderabad, who are hosted on the Pinkbox. And she found
mm,
that it was much better than the cup she was using. It was softer, it was more flexible.
mm, mm,
So, I mean, she was already using it, but switching to this brand made her period even better. I think
mm,
everybody else in my family, either they're too old or they're boys.
mm.
So yeah, a lot of my friends have switched, have made the switch. And I think when it comes to menstrual cups, having somebody close to you who's made that switch, I think it also helps, you know.
Mm.
There are a
Right.
lot of queries people have when it comes to cups, and having somebody close to you go through that process and solve those queries for you, I think it really helps.
Yeah, true. I mean, I think it has to be a dominoes effect. Like, you need to have that one person,
Exactly.
and then and then only it can
Exactly.
spread.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
I personally was so apprehensive because the first time I tried to wear a cup, it was so difficult. And what
Mm.
also happens is, when you tense up, your body also tenses up, your vaginal muscles will also contract. So you will not be
Mm.
able to wear the cup at all, right?
True.
And I think it was so difficult for me initially to be cool and calm and relax and then wear the cup.
Mm.
But
Mm.
what prompted me to actually switch was the experience of one of my friends, Dr. Snigdha Burman, and we also did a little Q&A with her on our Instagram. It's on our IGTV, where we
Mm.
asked her all these basic questions about cups and her switch to it.
Mm.
So her experience also helped me make the shift. So you're right,
Mm.
absolutely, it's a domino effect. Yeah.
That's great. So, I was thinking like besides, I think since your family is already supportive, was there anything else that you see as a challenge? Like, was it getting people to subscribe, or was it shipping it all the
Hmm.
way from different parts of the country? What would you
Hmm.
list as the top three challenges that you faced?
Right. I think firstly, it would be the whole taboo behind menstruation itself, right? People would not want to talk to us about the product because, periods के बारे में कौन बात करता है, things like that. But we tackled that problem by actually talking about it, right? We would make sure that we would put all the information out there. We would make women understand how this product would be helpful. So talking about it is what actually made us make the switch. Is how we tackle the problem.
Mm.
I think problem number two is getting people to actually spend on this. Because, like I
Mm.
said, our spends usually go with like groceries, household things, food, makeup, beauty, all of that.
Clothes,
Um,
yeah.
I think when what happens is when it comes to your periods, right, your expenditure is just your sanitary pads or tampons. That is it, right? You don't tend to think about the self care aspect. You don't tend to think about maybe my body needs these extra nutrients, this like fun food. We tend to snack, we tend to, we have crazy cravings, we tend to binge eat a lot. And then we worry about like, oh, like pimples happen because it's oily and things like that, right? So what we do is we make sure that all the snacks that come in the pink box, they're so healthy. They are oil free, they are masala free, and it's really good for you and your system. But it's also
Mm.
tasty at that, when we do that. Um, so I think getting people to understand how this care kit will help you during your period, I think that was another problem that we faced.
Mm.
And yeah, we've tackled that as well. And I think the third issue is again, like you said, like shipping, right? Luckily, we live in a time where we have so many courier partners, whether it is FedEx, Delivery, Shadowfax, Blue Dart, who deliver to even the most remotest of pin
Places.
codes all over
Mm.
Bombay, sorry, all over India.
Mm.
But still, based in Mumbai, things are a little bit more expensive. Though that cost factor is always there,
Mm.
but it's also something that we tackled in the due course of time. Initially, it
Mm.
was a bit, surprising for us about, this box. Just shipping is going to cost so much. That was one problem initially. But I
Mm.
think, as we went ahead, we discovered better partners. We discovered people who were giving us better rates for the service that, they were giving us and all
Mm.
of that. Yeah, that's how we tackled that problem.
Mm, that's nice. So, did you actually try to, when you made those first set of boxes, like, do you remember your first order being placed or?
Yeah.
Like I also want to know how that journey was from the box that you shipped first till the box that you
Right.
shipped now. Like, was there how were the
Right.
variations and how did it change?
Right. I think the very first box that we had shipped, it looked very different from how the pink box looks right now. Okay, in terms of design, in terms of the shape and the size of the box, it was very
Mm,
different. And I remember the first time we got the very first box to the office and we assembled it, I felt like, this is my baby, and I felt like I have not given birth to this box, obviously, but this is my baby, right?
mm,
And when the first orders started coming in, it was very exciting. It was also more exciting when people would go for the longer 6 month subscription and not
mm,
take like a one-off box and then forget about it.
mm, mm,
So there was definitely a lot of excitement that time, and it's something that still continues till date. It's been over 2 years, but every time somebody places an order, it's just like, hey, everybody will rejoice. I think it's just one of those hashtag small business things.
mm.
So yeah, it's still exciting. It's still very fun. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So do you like I think you mentioned decide a box of the month. So is there a survey that is sent out before that? Like how did you like the previous box, or do you want to do this? Like how does that process go?
Yeah,
Do the customers have a
we do
choice?
that. As of now, so we want to start a build your own box option where people will get to customize whatever they want. Like if
Mm-hmm.
you want more sweets and less snacks, you can do that. We're in the process of doing that seamlessly right now. It's at a very nascent stage, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we'll get there. As of now, what we do is yes, after people receive their boxes, about a week later, we ask them about, how was your experience, and
Mm-hmm.
did you have a better period, and what did you like, what did you not like, what would you want to see more of, what would you want to see less of. We do
Mm-hmm.
all, we do that kind of, one-on-one talking to our subscribers. And then, of course, like I said earlier, before we finalize the box of the month, we
Mm-hmm.
have a conversation with our dietitians, with our nutritionists, and we figure out whether these things would be good. That's how we go about curating it.
Mm. Did any order go extremely wrong? Was there anything that you starkly remember as we should
Mm,
have done something like? Is there any like some regretting incident that had happened?
Once, yes, I remember we sent an order to somebody, and she had chosen a 6 month plan, right? And 5 months went very well. When the 6 month came, she started cribbing a lot about, I didn't get this in my box, I didn't get that in my box.
Oh.
And we said, okay, maybe we made a mistake, so we compensated her with extra products, right? And she liked those, and then she renewed her subscription again. And then again, the first box of her renewed subscription, again, she was like, I didn't receive that and I didn't receive this. And then we
Oh.
thought about like, this issue is happening only with one customer. Nobody
Mm-hmm.
else is having this problem. So, where are we going wrong? Um, and then we realized that there was nothing going wrong. She was
Mm-hmm.
just trying to get more products, maybe trying to freeload. And that made us realize that it's so important to keep a track of exactly, what you are sending and when.
Mm-hmm.
We what we do is with every ping box, we send a little note that says these are the products in your ping box and how these help you. Like if we have a particular, say a chamomile green tea, we'll tell you about how this green tea helps you like soothe a little bit. It'll soothe your body a little bit. It'll help you just get that calm. So what we realized is let's actually like digitize these things, or if we're handwriting it, let's also keep a copy so that we know exactly what we've sent whom exactly, right? So later on, people tell us that ye nahi tha, wo nahi tha, we can be like, nahi, aapke
Check,
box
check,
mein tha.
check.
Yeah, exactly.
These things
um
actually help us learn, right?
Exactly, exactly, exactly. And there are a lot of these things that you will learn on the job. You won't be able to predict it until it actually happens. And unfortunately, this is one thing we've seen a lot, Julian, where people will try to freeload a lot. This
Yeah.
was just one incident that I remember clearly,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, it was a little bit heartbreaking because as a small business, it's very difficult, when you have these little incidents. But yeah, you
Mm-hmm.
do learn from it. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, like, how do you think there are more people who are willing to start businesses? Like, are there more women who, or do you think there is a lot of like a reluctance on, should I get started? And like, do you have more friends of who have their own small businesses, or
Yes,
are
I do.
reluctant to you just start?
No, I think that sentiment is there amongst I think women in general about will I really be able to do this? I think
Mm-hmm.
firstly if you have the means for it, if you have the conviction to do it, then you should dive right into it, right? There's nothing like going right into your field and understanding
Mm-hmm.
things and seeing how things change, right? Because like I said, you tend to learn more on the job, right? Some things you won't be able to predict, so you
Mm-hmm.
should dive right into it. That said, I think 2020 is a year where a lot of women-led businesses also came up in a lot of diverse fields, right? And I think that was a much-needed blessing that came about. Also, the university that I went to, Symbiosis International University, they have a Symbiosis Center for Entrepreneurship and Innovation.
Mm-hmm.
And I am associated with their program called the Women Entrepreneurship Development Program, which is exclusively for women who are entrepreneurs or who are aspiring to be entrepreneurs, right? It's a program that coaches you on the
Mm-hmm.
basics of entrepreneurship, helps you get the right networks, gives you the right mentorship. And I think
Nice.
the fact that programs like this exist is also testament to the fact that there are a lot of women who are aspiring to start their own businesses. And I think it's
Mm-hmm.
very important that we have more women, join the force.
Yeah. So do you think that such programs actually help change the minds of investors? Like I think there are people who say that if it's a women-led business, they would not invest in it, or hurdles like
Yeah,
that. As a nation, if you want to cross this thing, I think such programs actually help remove that idea.
I think so. Yes, I agree with that. Yeah.
Mhm. What has been like, if you like, do you ever think that you want to start a different business, or like, has it been like, do you want to stick to this? You want to quit this sometime and maybe do something else later on? Is there any plans on starting another one?
No, I think right now I have my blinkers on and I'm focusing completely on the Pinkbox.
Mm-hmm.
And we started with the subscription service, of course, but as
Mm-hmm.
things progressed, we also diversified to the sustainable and the eco-friendly aspect of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
We've also gone into the mental wellness space where we have a couple of programs. You can enroll yourself in like a Zumba program, which caters to your fitness, right? And fitness also
Mm-hmm.
is something that helps you maintain your mental well-being. We also have yoga and meditation programs. We've got nutrition consultancy programs as well. We've also got a service where we can connect you directly to a therapist or a counselor. And we've
Mm-hmm.
got this in individual counseling as well as couples counseling, right? So under the Pinkbox banner itself, we've diversified into a lot of different fields as
Mm-hmm.
well. So this is something that I really want to focus on right now. I truly believe that I found my calling. I found my ikigai. I really believe in that concept.
Mm-hmm.
So this is what I want to do. Yeah,
Definitely, I think exercising actually is one of the biggest ways you can fix
it
PCOS, and
is
so
absolutely yes. And
I
it's something that
personally
I,
know
I've
people.
seen personally as well. Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
right? We all know people who really derive that kind of satisfaction from exercise, right? It keeps you fit. It keeps you so refreshed as well. Before the pandemic hit, I had like a proper schedule where I would hit the gym or I would go for a
Mm-hmm.
walk. I would refresh
Mm-hmm.
myself, come back and have breakfast, then go to the office, right?
Mm-hmm.
That schedule has got a little bit messed up right now. I'm trying to get myself back on that track.
Everybody's on the
And
same track.
everybody, right? So yeah, it's
Mm.
important.
So do you feel it becomes hectic sometimes, like when you have way too many orders to fulfill, or like how does a normal day look like for you in your office, or if you're from home, working from home right now? How does a normal day look
Right.
like for you?
Mm, I think all normal days are hectic days. I have realized that it is so important not to, I mean, you always have to contribute 100% to the field that you believe in, to the
Mm.
field that you work in. But it's also equally important to give yourself those breaks, right? It's so important so that you don't burn out, right? So,
Correct.
yeah, our mornings are usually reserved for packaging, dispatching. Afternoons, when we revert to customer queries, we have a couple of meetings where we discuss, what are our next steps, what are some brands that we can bring about the Pinkbox. Evening as well as the same thing. Continue. Meetings, meetings, meetings. So yeah, that's what a typical day looks like.
Mm.
Yes. There have
So,
also been incidents where we've had people write in very random queries at say 1 a.m. And sometimes what happens is people get very impatient for these answers. कि नहीं नहीं अभी बता दो ये तो बहुत urgent है and things like that. Then there are people from our team, who are up until 2 a.m. also solving queries. And all those things really made me realize that some things are so unpredictable, and you will end up staying up so late sometimes. You will end up, waking up late because of this, and then your whole schedule gets messed up. So it's very important to take these breaks out for yourself.
mhm,
So
mhm,
I'm still trying though. I've not perfected that process yet, but I'm trying to
mhm,
take like one weekend off completely. One
mhm,
of my mentors who's really guided me through the pink box journey, he would always say that in 1 week you should take 1 day off compulsorily, and in 3 weeks you should take the entire weekend off. Whether it's a Friday,
mhm,
Saturday, Sunday, or just a Saturday,
mhm,
Sunday. And I
mhm,
think a little process like this is so important to like really recharge yourself. So yeah,
mhm,
a big thanks to him for giving me that little piece of advice. Yeah.
mhm. That's nice. So I was like about to ask, like, how does your self-care routine look like on those days? How do you
Yes,
have the tea and the gummy bears, and how is
I
that going?
do. I do. In fact, this is a joke that I have with my parents. Whenever I tend to be in that whole PMS state where I don't want to talk to anyone or I'm a bit annoyed or anything, my dad will be like, "Are you nearing your chums?" And I'll say, "Yes, I am." And he would be like, "Good for you. You can just like take something from your stock and eat it." So that is something that I do. I think that's an advantage that I have where I've just got all these nice goodies. I've got all the teas, I've got all the pain relief patches, I've got the creams, I've got everything to like really take care of myself during my period. And yeah, like I said, I switched to a menstrual cup and a cloth pad. So the fact that I now have a zero waste period, it gives me a lot of sense of satisfaction as well.
Mhm.
That I'm not contributing to waste
Global.
anymore, at least when
Yeah,
it comes to this. Exactly, exactly. And I do feel that on a personal level, if there are small changes we can make, I think we should make it.
definitely.
All these small actions together contribute and help us make a bigger difference, create a bigger action. So yeah, I think on an individual level, I'm happy I've made this change, and I'm enabling other people also to make small little changes like this. So yeah.
So, was your mentor somebody who you had met in college, or is he of relative? Like, who's the one who's guiding you?
Yes, he's somebody I met in college. And there's also another mentor who's very dear to me. She is also
Mm-hmm.
somebody I met through college. And
Mm-hmm.
I remember the first lecture that we had on campus. She mentioned that, she's from this little village in Karnataka. And I was like, that's exactly where I come from. That's my village as well. And it was such a coincidence, because we come from this village called Brahmavar near Udupi. People
Mm-hmm.
have heard of Udupi, people have heard of Mangalore, but Brahmavar is almost never heard of. So it was like, I know that place. I come from that place, right? And something that started from there, it really has developed into such a beautiful,
Friendship.
relationship that her and
Mm-hmm.
I, yes, a friendship as well. She's really seen the pink box grow from just an idea to what it is now. I think she recently bought a box just about 2 days back as well. So for her also, it's a good, she sees that I made this change and she's so proud of me, and that gives me so much confidence also. So yeah, both my mentors are people who I met during my college years at SIBM Pune.
Hmm. But do you think without a mentor also, like, I think people always have that feeling that like I'm not doing this the right way, or you have all
Yeah,
of these doubts. It's how important do you would you say that a mentor played a role? Like, say
yeah,
most of my decisions I would consult them, or bigger decisions at least.
yes. I
Like,
think it's
do you
very
think?
important.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's extremely important to have somebody there who's done what you are doing right now, maybe in a different field. But I think the process of entrepreneurship is quite similar, depending on what field you come from. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's always important to have somebody you can look up to, somebody who is there for you when you have those feelings of doubt, somebody who's there to guide you, right? I think it's
Mm-hmm.
very important to have a mentor. Um, Even in the early days of the Pink Box, right, there was a lot of self doubt. There was a lot of, are we doing this correct? And can we do that differently? And I think
Mm-hmm.
having these mentors really support the Pink Box was extremely helpful. It was definitely, they gave us a big push in the right direction multiple times. So I think it's
Mm-hmm.
very important. Yeah.
That's nice. So, like out of the blue, I use this app called Flow, and like I'm not
Yeah.
sure. Do you plan on having collaborations with apps like these, so that I would know about the Pink Box via apps like this because I use it for tracking my periods. But
Yes. Yes.
like they have recently started subscription models on telling me insights about what is like
Right.
I'm gonna have more energy today or I'm gonna have very
Right.
terrible mood swings today, so it warns
Yes.
me as soon as I wake up like this is gonna be your day. But
Yes.
if I could see a subscription of say like you could order gummy bears from Pinkbox here, that would be
Right.
great.
Right. Absolutely. It's something that we're working on already. So we should be able to launch that very soon. Yes.
Oh, yeah. Nice, nice. Wishing you all the best. And I really like this
Thank
entire
you.
conversation. And I think you gotta go a long way. And there's a lot many women out there who need to hear about you. Hoping this
Thank you,
podcast would
Julian.
help a little at least.
Thank you
Thank
so much. Thank you so much for having me on this platform. And just as a closing note, one thing I would like to add is that we recently did a campaign where we helped over 2,000 women and children get access to sanitary pads, right? These were all women and children who are less privileged than us. Not only
you.
did we help them with sanitary pads and basic needs that they had during that period, we would also take our partner doctors along with us when we would go meet
Mhm.
them, who would
Mhm.
explain to them about what is menstruation, what is the
Mhm.
biology behind it. Um, and yeah, I think we would get such diverse questions and such innocent questions as well. There would be a lot of kids who are just about 12 or 13 saying didi इस पैड को कैसे पहनते हैं, and then we would
Mhm.
also have these same kids asking us questions like, is it important to shave my pubic hair, right? And
Mhm.
these are questions that are very common for some but are also so new to a lot of us, right? And it's important that I think each and every woman and girl and child and menstruator out there have access to the right information. So if you guys would like to contribute to what we do to this cause, check out the campaign section on our website. You will see it there, and do visit us. We would love to have you like try out the Pink Box. And yeah, happy again to be here, Julian. Thank you so much for this.
Thank you. Thank you for joining. I'm really glad you mentioned that. I was just about to ask. So thank you. Everyone, please do check out Pinkbox, subscribe to their box, and take care of yourself. Have a great period and a healthy one. Like, stay healthy, everybody.
Thank you. Have a happy period.
Thank you. Bye.